Are you Malcolm?
Of course not.
Dave, what's going on?
Look, I'll talk to you later, okay? I've got work to do.
Examine it, you can skim it.
Scan it, Rupert, that's scan it.
Of course.
Oh, I know our ways are strange to you, but soon you will join us in the 20th century. With 3 whole years to spare.
Ms. Callender, I'm sure your computer science class is fascinating, but I happen to believe that one can survive in modern society without being a slave to the idiot box.
That's TV. The idiot box is TV. This is the good box.
I still prefer a good book.
The printed page is obsolete. Information isn't bound up anymore. It's an entity. The only reality is virtual. If you're not jacked in, you're not alive.
Thank you, Fritz, for making us all sound like crazy people. Fritz comes on a little strong, but he does have a point. You know, for the last 2 years, more email is sent than regular mail. More digitized information went across phone lines than conversations.
Yes, that is a fact that I regard with genuine horror.
I'll bet it is. Hey, Fritz. I'm looking at the logs. You and Dave are clocking a pretty scary amount of computer time.
New project.
Ooh, will I be excited?
We're still at a standstill. Short of breaking into the place, I'd see...
Breaking in. And this is the plan.
I'm free tonight.
Tonight it is.
A moment, please, of quiet reflection. I did not suggest that you illegally enter the data into the file, so the book will be listed by title as well as author.
I just came by to check your new database, make sure your cross-reference table isn't glitching, because I'm guessing you haven't gone anywhere near it.
I'm still sorting through the chaos you left behind you.
You here again? Kids really dig the library, don't you?
We're literary.
To read makes our speaking English good.
We'll be going now.
We'll continue this conversation at another time.
I think we're done.
I've never felt this way about anyone before, Willow.
I know what you mean. I feel like you know me better than anyone.
I do.
You think we should meet?
I think we should soon.
I'm nervous.
I'm not. Isn't that strange?
That's what Buffy doesn't understand.
and to the planets beyond. And we have vowed that we shall not see it governed by a hostile flag of conquest, but by a banner of freedom and peace. In short, our leadership in science and industry, our hopes for peace and security, our obligations to ourselves as well as others, all require us to make this effort, to solve these mysteries, to solve them for the good of all men.
Bubble just makes trouble. That's why she got kicked out of her old school.
How did you know that?
Nonsense. I simply don't adhere to a knee-jerk assumption that because something is new, it's better.
This isn't a fad, Rupert. We are creating a new society here.
Society in which human interaction is all but obsolete, in which people can be completely manipulated by technology. Well, thank you, I'll pass.
I think you'll be very happy here with your musty old books.
These musty old books have a great deal more to say than in any of your fabulous web pages.
This one doesn't have a whole lot more to say. What is it, like a diary?
How? I haven't looked through all of them yet. I didn't,
What is it?
a diary, yes. Imagine that's what it is. But it's been so nice talking to you.
We were fighting.
Let's do it again sometime. Bye now.
Duty to wage war against the demon horde. 666 legions of hellspawn creatures unleashed by Satan after his fall from heaven. Humans think of us as mere decoration. They do not know, nor could they conceive of the brutal unseen war being fought around them every day. A war that may one day determine the very fate of all mankind. You have now been drawn into this war.
I care not for the world or man.
Yes, we have heard the stories of you. Shunned by your human creator, lost and alone, you would be welcome here. Until we learn why Nibirius wants you, I ask that you stay with us, safe within these hallowed walls.
Apocalypse Boy.
Apocalypse Boy.
Yeah. I'm having t-shirts made up.
Well, hats sell better.
You know, it's funny because that's right where it should be. I'm sorry, I'm a little ragged around the edges. I'm just trying to get this thing to focus.
It's really cool, but
Come, gather round and listen to the legend of the Space Viking. AKA the God of Thunder, AKA Thor Odinson. Raised in the way of the warrior, Thor was taught to help win battles, fighting the good fight for those who can't fight good. He grew, and he grew, and he grew. He was sensitive like a smile, and his loving nature did not discriminate. Thor's one true love was an Earthwoman named Jane Foster. But sadly, in the battle for love, Thor lost. Poor Thor had to watch his planet explode, and then he said, "What have I done?" It seemed that everything and everyone he loved, he lost, and so he hid his heart behind a big fleshy bod so it could never be broken again. But just because he was done loving didn't mean he was done fighting. He teamed up with the Guardians of the Galaxy and set off on some classic Thor adventures. He got in shape, putting in the hard yards, turning pains into gains, and never skipping leg day. He went from dad bod to god bod. Because all of the bods that Thor had worn over the years couldn't hide the pain that he was feeling on the inside. So he gave up his search for love, accepting that he was only good for one thing, waiting in quiet contemplation for someone to say, "Thor, we need your help to win this battle."
Thor! We need your help to win this battle. Let's go.
If you wanted to start a plague, this is where you do it.
Yeah.
20 million people a year come here from every corner of the globe.
During the Black Death, the Venetians made all the ships anchor in the harbor for 40 days before they would allow the crews into the city, making sure that they were not carrying the plague.
If you wanted to start a plague, this is where you do it.
Yeah.
20 million people a year come here from every corner of the globe.
During the Black Death, the Venetians made all the ships anchor in the harbor for 40 days before they would allow the crews into the city, making sure that they were not carrying the plague.
I never heard of antimatter being used as such.
Well, it's never been generated in significant quantities before. It's a way of studying the origins of the universe, to try to isolate what some people call the God particle. But there are implications for energy research.
Particle?
What we call it isn't important. It's what gives all matter mass, the thing without which we could not exist.
You're talking about the moment of creation.
Yes, in a way I am. The antimatter is suspended there, in an airtight nanocomposite shell with electromagnets on each end. But if it were to fall out of suspension and come in contact with matter, say the bottom of the canister, then the two opposing forces would annihilate one another violently.
And what might cause it to fall out of suspension?
The battery going dead.
I got so bored I started thinking about existence. Do I have it? Do any of us? Is there a master plan? Is there a grand design?
The Big Bang is not creation, exactly, because we don't know what was before the Big Bang. My questions.
Is that your stolen canister, Miss Vetra?
Where is that camera, number 86?
It's wireless. It too was stolen. It could be anywhere inside the Vatican walls.
That canister contains an extremely combustible substance called antimatter. We need to locate it immediately or evacuate Vatican City.
I'm quite familiar with incendiaries, Miss Vetra. I never heard of antimatter being used as such.
Well, it's never been generated in significant quantities before. It's a way of studying the origins of the universe. To try to isolate what some people call the God particle. But there are implications for energy research.
God particle?
What they call it isn't important. It's what gives all matter mass, the thing without which we could not exist.
You're talking about the moment of creation.
Yes, in a way I am. The antimatter is suspended there, in an airtight nano-composite shell with electromagnets in each end. But if it were to fall out of suspension and come in contact with matter, say the bottom of the canister, then the two opposing forces would annihilate one another violently.
What might cause it to fall out of suspension?
The battery going dead, which it will, just before midnight.
Kind of annihilation. How violent?
A cataclysmic event. A blinding explosion equivalent to about 5 kilotons.
Vatican City will be consumed by light.
Now I'm curious about science and the Judeo-Christian creation story. So I've come to Rome, where Michelangelo's breathtaking Sistine Chapel ceiling depicts the book of Genesis. In 6 days, God creates light, makes the sun and the moon, and creates man. So we have the two different approaches to the idea of creation. There's the book of Genesis, and then there's the Big Bang.
The Big Bang is not creation, exactly, because we don't know what was before the Big Bang.
My question exactly.
And for this reason, creation is nothing to do with the Big Bang. The other thing is that the idea of the Bible is not a scientific idea of creation.
In other words, science can't prove it or disprove it.
Exactly. We say in the Bible is the idea of creation, but in the theological sense of creation, not scientific sense of creation.
Thank you. Thank you.
The canister contains an extremely combustible substance called antimatter. We need to locate it immediately or evacuate Vatican City.
I'm quite familiar with incendiaries, Miss Vetra. I've never heard of antimatter being used as such.
Well, it's never been generated in significant quantities before. It's a way of studying the origins of the universe, to try to isolate what some people call the God particle. But there are implications for energy research.
God particle?
What we call it isn't important. It's what gives all matter mass, the thing without which we could not exist.
You're talking about the moment of creation.
Yes, in a way I am. The antimatter is suspended there, in an airtight nano-composite shell with electromagnets in each end. But if it were to fall out of suspension and come in contact with matter, say the bottom of the canister, then the two opposing forces would annihilate one another violently.
And what might cause it to fall out of suspension?
The battery going dead, which it will, just before midnight.
Kind of annihilation. How violent?
A cataclysmic event. A blinding explosion equivalent to about 5 kilotons.
Vatican City will be consumed by light.
right there.
This machine.
Attention, everyone. This is an emergency broadcast. Noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake. Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go, so that you can make the sound we broadcast as loud as possible.
Doctor, plane's begun broadcasting.
Okay, that does it. Now let's go to McQuarrie Island.